Good morning once again. Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Talon and I make new videos every single week. If you are new here, you missed the previous video where we put the Tundra through some pretty much just straight up abuse. Ran one of the hardest trails that I've ever put this truck through personally, and it was quite a journey. Today, this trip continues on. I'm at the Overland Invitational put on by Diffcoms, and we are in southern Utah. I've been aired down to 18 PSI pretty much all day yesterday, and we have a little bit of highway driving unfortunately today, so I need to air up. I don't know if I've shown you guys this kit before, but I do not have an onboard air compressor for the Tundra because I haven't found anyone who makes a mount for a double cab for like an ARB twin compressor, so keep that up here in this box. I do still want to do a damage assessment because now that it's light out, I've been noticing a few different things around the truck. It's going to be hard to tell exactly because this thing is completely filthy and covered in mud, but I'm not going to wash it until I get back home. Now, since I do not have an air compressor built into the truck, I have one in this box. And to be honest, it's pretty convenient. It's got alligator clips right here that will go to my battery, and then I can just plug the hose directly into here. There's an off and on switch. And one reason this is cool is because if you have multiple vehicles or if you need to share air with a friend, it's not tied to the vehicle. So I can just take this to anyone else here at our campsite and let them air up if they don't have onboard air. Another cool thing about this setup is that it does have an air tank in there, so the compressor doesn't have to run all the time. You can actually fill it up just by turning it on, and then you'll have a little bit of air. That way it's not constantly fighting to inflate some big tires like these 37s. Ooh, that is looking a little scary right there. I've got a pretty good gash in my sidewall, but luckily did not go all the way through. May have to throw a glue tread on that. Might as well continue on into the damage assessment. The rear bumper, this thing got absolutely hammered yesterday. Not only underneath, but on the back side here, scraping down a bunch of different stuff. Got some bumps over there. I think my lower shock mounts are okay. Tag that knuckle right there, as per usual. And then it's hard to tell on camera, but all of this is completely chewed up. So my rocker panel, luckily, is wrapped. And it doesn't look like it went down past the paint, but I drug the whole rocker panel on this truck because I had no choice. This thing needs sliders for sure. Now coming around to the front over here, since I only have the low pro bumper, I definitely scraped down to the paint on this part. No big deal there. Absolutely bashed up my Agency 6 Fairlead, but that thing is built for that, so actually might have just scraped rock off. That might actually clean up okay. Hit the front bumper over here. Really hit this corner, is what it is. And then I definitely hit the rocker a little bit underneath here, but doesn't look too terrible. So that is the damage assessment as of now. Truck still feels completely fine, so fingers crossed that there aren't any more issues than cosmetics. So I'm all aired back up now, and I keep thinking about this gash here. Now that I have air in the tire and I'm not like compressing it down low, it's not that bad, but makes me a little concerned. So I'm going to dive into the only tire repair kit that I actually have because I do not have a full-size spare with this truck. So this is the tire repair kit that I bring with me in both of my trucks because my Tacoma also do not have a spare. Glue tread, bought it on Amazon. It's got everything you need in here. Valve stem repair kit, plug kit, sidewall patch, which is kind of what we're going to be using today. There's sandpaper to cut down on tire lettering, and since this one is close to here, if I was putting an actual patch on here, I would probably sand that completely flat, but since this isn't a full-blown puncture, I don't want it to be a puncture. All I'm going to use is the adhesive from the kit, and I'm going to kind of pull back the outer layer of the tire, and they give you this tiny little applicator tip here as well, so I stuck that on, and I'm going to just put adhesive inside of here, and then I'll kind of lay the outer rubber down flat. I'm gonna end up sticking my freaking finger to the tire. They do have an accelerator spray in there as well, so if you don't want to sit here and hold this for like a minute while it dries, you can just add a little spray and it will cure almost immediately. Now that that's closed up, I'm just gonna add even a little bit more on the outside here, and I'm definitely gonna be keeping an eye on this for today and really for the rest of the trip. This may require a tire replacement at some point, but at least it didn't fail completely. All right. We'll go with that. Now I've been letting the anti-shanty dry out a little bit. There wasn't any like crazy condensation, but it felt a little moist this morning. This thing has been doing great. It's nice to get a good night's sleep in a quiet, dark environment when we have these very long days. I'm still looking for a mattress cover solution in here because Anti-Shanty does not have one. So I'm just kind of like sleeping on foam, and then I got some random sheets at Walmart or a Target. And the mattress is really nice, it's comfortable, but I'd like it to be a little more complete with actual covers that fit over the pieces of foam. So if anyone out there can make custom sheets that kind of attach like a pillowcase, let me know, because I am in the market. All locked up. A little bit more gear to clean up around here, clean up the inside of the truck, and looks like everyone is almost aired up, so I think we're ready to go. Welcome to our camp spot for the second night. This one, as you guys saw, is not too bad. We spent quite a long time off-road, nothing really technical, which I'm thankful for. Not a whole lot of like obstacle stuff that you guys would be interested in seeing, just a ton of dirt, really scenic passes all the way out into this valley. And this is actually an area that I've never been before. I'm not going to tell you exactly where we are, but definitely pinning this one on my maps for Onyx, and I think I will definitely visit this again in the future. We've been here for the past hour or so, and we are in the shade of a giant butte over here, so no more solar on my truck. I got to do a little bit of work on my camper battery because I feel like it's not keeping up with the pace, even though I have extra solar on the roof now. So I'm positioned directly to where the sun will rise tomorrow, just over this little point right here. And whenever we get rolling in the morning, I will hopefully be doing a little bit better on power. I went pretty much full setup minus the awning for right now. I actually got a little bit of work done in the back here in the dwell shell. Pulled the afterburner out in case I decide to get a little bit fancier with my cooking. I can brush my teeth, wash my hands, and to be honest with you, I need a shower, so I have a bunch of shower pouches. May warm this up and use that in a little bit. I also have my little geyser shower, which I mentioned in a video in the past, but I haven't actually used it yet or brought you guys a video on it. I don't have any kind of like privacy awning or anything like that on this setup, so I probably won't be like stripping down with 9 other trucks all camped around here. So a shower pouch will have to do. With the solar on the camper, the extra 100 watt panel that I added, and this little auxiliary one down here, I should have 300 watts getting blasted by the sun in the morning. So that will hopefully be ideal. We're going on day 2 that you guys have seen, but I'm going on day 3 and I really need to charge like all of my camera batteries, main camera, photo camera, action cameras, iPad, MacBook, all that stuff. It's getting a little low. Now coming up into the setup, still carrying the ladder because when I park on rocks to level out, this tailgate is super tall, but I got everything set up in here pretty nicely. Nice open gap here. I do wish the anti-shanty was pushed a little bit forward over the cab. I feel like the tent portion here could be much longer and it would be better for taller people and it would give me more room. It would make these pass-throughs a little bit bigger. So it'll make this space a little bit more modular and I wouldn't have to move around the panels as much. But that being said, it's great to have a 360 view with all these like gull wing doors open. I got buttes all around. I don't think it's going to get as cold tonight. I think it's still going to drop down into the 30s later though, so I will definitely be sleeping with everything closed up. Under here I popped up my little Dometic table and got my HAL and everything else out, so this kind of transforms into a workspace. I was able to sit here and work on some videos, and now we're really just chilling for the day. Now, speaking about the last video, I was talking about how our land is under attack and we're here to like basically put out the word that we need to help preserve the land. Nick from DIFCOMS was actually at the meeting with the Bare Ears Partnership, and I kind of got a rundown of everything that this whole area kind of stands for. A ton of indigenous people, of course, back in the day. They all lived out here in this general area, and there's a lot of like sacred pieces of land out here. A lot of it was BLM until it was formed into the Bare Ears National Monument, and this happened, I'm thinking like 10 to 12 years ago, if I remember correctly. And what's cool about this area is that the American government at the time brought in a lot of people from those tribes who lived on this land, and they basically gave them free rein to set the boundaries and kind of put a border around this area to help keep it protected. Now, like I said, there's a lot of legislation in place that is constantly attacking these lands, and they're trying to sell it to people for profit, essentially. They're trying to allow mining claims and oil drilling and all sorts of stuff like that, which basically means if that ever happens, we can't come out here and drive our trucks on this land. You can't camp on this land. If you're into hunting or mountain biking or rock climbing, all of your access to come out to places like this, which is public, this is our land, that is what's being attacked, and this land will go away. So I'm not on board with that. I actually was able to get a couple of links for petitions, and I'll leave a link for the Bare Ears Partnership so you can find out more through them. First and foremost, we do need to respect the land, but secondly, the best thing that you can do is write to your congressman and talk to people in power, write them emails, send them handwritten letters, whatever it may be, and let them know, let your voice be heard. I've done this myself plenty of times before, and it's not going to stop anytime soon. Without public lands, what else do we have? Any land that we already own privately, we're getting taxed on like crazy. So it's kind of nice being able to explore out here and kind of like live here temporarily, set up camp, share stories around a campfire, cook some food, hang out with friends and family. It's when all of the worries kind of melt away. That's why I love overlanding and camping and being outdoors. It's under attack and we need to do something about it. So check out those links down below. I'm going to stop harping on this whole issue right now, but hopefully I have gotten the point across. Sun will be setting in probably about an hour, and I think we will cook some food.
Howdy. It's about 10:30 at night now, and luckily, as I was walking around shooting B-roll of other people cooking and stuff, a lot of people had extra food, so I didn't even end up cooking. Shout out to Ken for some of that steak. It was awesome. And then Michael also made me a baked potato and a bunch of chicken too. So shout out to you guys. Appreciate you. We hung out by the fire for a little while, and I was talking to Jimmy, and he's the one driving the 6th gen 4Runner from Frontrunner Dometic. We started talking about astro photography and how I never am outside at night to shoot astro. I don't know why. I never did. I love shooting photos. I basically never go camping without shooting photos. Sometimes I'll camp without making videos, but I always have a camera. Love shooting photos. So we were talking about it, and he was like, yeah, you should try this and try that, and so on and so forth. And I got a couple of pretty cool shots with like a little bit of light painting. So this is what those looked like. Of course, the Utah skies out here are incredibly dark, and we actually have a couple of storms kind of rolling around us. So we got lightning in the distance, but checking out the radar, I think we're in luck for now. It looks like the storms may like converge into this valley and kind of saddle that we're sitting on later tonight around like midnight, maybe 2 a.m. So I am checked out for the day. I'm completely spent, and tomorrow could be interesting. We have 2 different trails, an easy and a hard trail, but we also have the possibility of rain like all day. Hoping that's not the case, but if it is, it's going to make things very tricky. We have a bunch of dry creeks to go through, or I should say they are dry right now, but it's in a very flash flood prone zone. Not only do we have those, but of course technical slick rock obstacles. And then on top of that, we are kind of like pigeonholed in this area where we need to cross a river to get back out to like our camp spot tomorrow and our end destination. So with that being said, tomorrow is going to be interesting, and you guys will have to check back next week to see how all of that stuff pans out. Hope you guys are enjoying these videos. If you do, I'd appreciate it if you left a like and considered clicking subscribe, because I make new videos every single week. As always, thank you guys for watching. I'll talk to you in the next one.